Every night, in caves across the world, millions of bats leave to hunt, and millions of mothers return hours later to find their single pup among the crowd. Not by smell, not by location, by voice. In a cave so loud the sound levels rival a rock concert, a mother bat finds her baby by a call so specific, so individual, that scientists now believe it functions exactly like a name. Think about that for a moment. An animal that can't write, can't read, and has a brain smaller than your thumb, has been naming its children for millions of years. Before we go further, how do you think a mother bat finds her pup among millions? Sound, smell, or memory? Drop your guess in the comments. To understand why this is remarkable, you need to understand the scale of the problem. A single Brazilian free-tailed bat colony in Texas is home to over 20 million individuals. When mothers return from a night of hunting, they have roughly 30 minutes to locate and feed their pup before it weakens from hunger. The cave is deafening. Constant ultrasonic calls bouncing off every surface. There's no GPS, no scent trail that survives the chaos, no landmark that stays fixed in a moving mass of 20 million bodies. And yet, the failure rate is remarkably low. Most mothers find their pup every single night. Scientists spent decades assuming bats used a combination of general location memory and scent. Then they started listening more carefully, and what they found changed everything. Quick question. Which do you think is the more impressive navigation system? A bat finding one pup among 20 million by voice alone, or a salmon returning to the exact river it was born in after years at sea? Both are real. Tell us which one surprises you more. Researchers recording bat calls in the lab noticed something unexpected. Individual bats don't all sound the same. Each bat has a slightly different vocal signature, a unique frequency pattern in its calls that distinguishes it from every other bat in the colony. But the discovery that truly shifted thinking came from studying mothers and pups together. Scientists found that mother bats produce a specific call directed at their own pup. And over the first weeks of life, the pup learns to respond to that call, and not to others. The pup also develops its own matching signature, shaped partly by the mother's voice, in a process researchers have compared to dialect learning in human infants. The mother doesn't just recognize her pup, she calls to it specifically, and the pup knows its own name. What makes this even more striking is the timeline. The vocal signature is established within days of birth, in an environment of constant acoustic chaos, through a process of social learning that mirrors, in basic structure, how human children learn to respond to their own names. Here's where it gets philosophically interesting. If an animal uses a unique sound to identify a specific individual, and that individual learns to respond to it, at what point does that stop being a call and start being a name? Tell us where you draw the line. The word name is loaded. Scientists are careful not to anthropomorphize, to project human meaning onto animal behavior. But the functional parallel is hard to ignore. A name, at its most basic, is a unique signal used to identify and address a specific individual. It's learned during a critical developmental window. It's socially transmitted, and the individual learns to respond to it as a reference to themselves. Bat-pup vocal signatures meet all of these criteria. Whether we call it a name or not, the mechanism is functionally identical. And here's what makes it even more unsettling. We named things. We created language. We built entire civilizations on the idea of identity and individual recognition. Bats were doing a version of this, quietly, in the dark, for 50 million years before the first human being ever spoke a word. Have you ever noticed an animal, a pet, a wild bird, anything, responding to its own name or a specific call in a way that surprised you. Tell us what you witnessed. This vocal sophistication doesn't exist in isolation. It's built on top of one of the most advanced biological sound systems ever studied. Bats navigate and hunt using echolocation, emitting ultrasonic pulses and reading the returning echoes to build a precise three-dimensional map of their environment. They can detect an object the width of a human hair at speed, in complete darkness while flying. The same biological hardware that makes them extraordinary hunters also gives them the resolution to distinguish between millions of overlapping individual voices. Their auditory cortex, the part of the brain that processes sound, is proportionally enormous compared to most mammals. Engineers have spent decades trying to replicate bat echolocation in sonar systems, submarine navigation, and even some medical imaging technology. We're still not close. We covered the greater mouse-eared bat and the Brazilian free-tailed bat here. But there are over 1,400 bat species, and vocal recognition has only been studied in a handful. If you know of research on a different species, tell us in the comments. We might cover it. There's something quietly profound about what bats do every night. No ceremony, no written record, no monument, just a mother returning through the dark, calling a name that no other creature on earth has ever heard, and a pup, small and waiting, that knows exactly who is calling. We like to think that names are one of the things that make us human, that giving something a name is an act of recognition, of relationship, of care. Maybe it is, but we didn't invent it. We just found a way to write it down. So here's the question we'll leave you with. Does knowing that bats name their children change how you think about the animals you share the world with? And if you've been watching since the beginning, say hi below. We read every single comment. If this kind of hidden behavior in the natural world fascinates you, subscribe. There's a lot more out there that most people never stop to notice. See you in the next one.